Okay, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, the A's are on a 8-game, 8 of their last 10 game, nice little run. Ever since the trade deadline, they have been having a plethora of success for all the things that we kind of stated last week when we went over the deadline moves. Bob Melvin is really utilizing the versatility in the lineup. He is playing the matchups a lot more. There's a lot more depth, a lot more reliability, a lot more veteran presence. It's been great. Let's see. What do you have any stats here, Julio? You do. Well, no, you don't. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Don't have.
They are 6-0 ever since the news about Ray Foss, which is pretty cool. And yeah, they've just been playing really well. I know. I want to say they're 11 and 13 since the deadline, since making those moves, which is really cool. But
11 have won 11 of 13 games.
Yeah, is that not what I said?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I thought for some reason I thought the record was 11 and 13, like 13 losses. That threw me off.
No, I might have said it that way. So thank you for clarifying. But the A's play 15 in a row in this next coming stretch. 10 of those games are on the road. Very crucial. We can go through some of the opponents that they're going to have to face upcoming. There are some pretty big. I mean, they play Texas this weekend, but there are some pretty big matchups. The White Sox are going to be next week. Then right after that following is the Giants. And then right after that is a 2-game series with Seattle. Then the Yankees, a little bit of relief with Detroit. And then it's the Blue Jays. And then it's the White Sox again. But they have a day off there. So it's going to be a little intense. It's going to be a little crazy. These games are crucial right now, especially getting distance between us and Houston. And as we said multiple times on this podcast in the last 4 or 5 weeks, we don't really have any more series against the Astros. So we have to take advantage of any streak of wins we can get and hope that they don't have success. So, Julio, we are going to pick 3 things each that will be the keys to the success for this 15-game run specifically, but also the rest of the season. So, Julio, I'll let you go first. What is your first thing that you think is the most is key to the success of us making a solid run in the playoffs?
My first key to success: give the old guys the rest, man. Now that we highlighted, this team has a lot of versatility now with bringing in Josh Harrison. It looks like Chad Pinder will hopefully be having him up within the next, hopefully at least by the end of the month at the latest. You got to start giving these old vets some rest. Elvis is out there playing short almost every single day because we don't really have a true backup shortstop.
No, Julio, it's been every day. He's only had relief of 2 innings in the past 2 months, and that was when Chapman played shortstop. I think it was 5 days ago in a game because they were blowing out whoever it was.
Yeah, but then get Jed his days off. Jed's been an absolute madman lately. He got the day off today, so that's great. And the reason you are able to do that is because those acquisitions you made. And Mitch came in and DH and hit 2 home runs, so it's fantastic. But I think
speaking about guys, that, just real quick, about that specific Jed position at second base, Josh Harrison and Tony Kemp killed it today, so they can handle the load. Josh Harrison had 2 walks, and Tony Kemp went 4 for 3. So, yeah.
4 for 3? 3 for 4?
3 for 4, sorry. 3 for 4. My bad.
Chris, get it together. Read the details. But anyways, I think, and not just them, but also the relievers as well. Romo's been pitching a lot. And don't forget, Sergio Romo is 38 or in his high up there. Petit has been a usual horse. Give those guys those days off. They deserve it, especially during this long stretch. I'm hoping with this upcoming Texas series where you saw today where as soon as things got out of hand for the A's direction, they just started bringing in. I know Piscotty came in for Seth Brown, and they deserve it. So my first key is give the old guy some rest, keep those legs nice and clean.
Nice. I like it. Dig it a lot. Good advice. Oh, my turn. Sorry. I blanked
All
there for a
right,
second.
Chris, what do you got?
So my main key success is keep playing small ball, keep hitting the singles, keep moving guys up, slow at a time, because it felt like the first half of the season we would get a guy on first, or get a guy on second and get him in scoring position, like a ground, move him up. He's on third. And then we would just ground out and double play or strike out 2 times in a row. And they'd be swinging for the fences and it's not working. Like, keep playing the small ball, just moving guys forward, getting the singles, getting the doubles when you can. Chris Martinez actually pointed this out today. So shout out to Chris Martinez, State Farm agent of Walnut Creek. If you need insurance, Chris is there. He pointed that out, and how like they've been having so much success pretty much since Starling Marte came to the team, because Starling Marte is a single machine. And just let the guy like run on the bases, and just be patient. Like, if he's on third, just get a single. You don't need to fucking whack it out of the park. Just get a single and get the runs on the board. You need to get the runs on the board. That's the most important thing. You don't need to be flashy doing it. Just get them there. And I think we'll have success, because we know that our starting pitching is dominant. We know that they can handle it. So if you give them run support, they will be able. It doesn't matter if it's a lot of run support, but if you put them in a position to win, more than likely this season, knock on wood, we've had success, and they've been able to get us those wins. So keep playing small ball.
I love it. Absolutely. And it was kind of I don't think I'm going to bring this point up anymore, because you're kind of nailing on it a little bit too, which is a part of the small ball aspect, is just like the aggression on the base paths that we saw kind of at the beginning of the season, where the team was being a little more aggressive with steals. And we thought this could be a continued thing. It stopped. But now with Marte coming back, you're seeing Chapman being super aggressive on the base path, Canna, Elvis. And I think it's a big part of it. It's been a huge part of their success over this last 10-game run. So absolutely agree with you. I also just had a random thought as I'm watching kind of on the side, the Field of Dreams game. Why don't we have more Thursday night baseball on like national broadcast during the summer? Like, what are you going to watch? What are you going to show?
We
like
only have, it feels like we only have Sunday night baseball and Monday and Tuesday night baseball. And then there's nothing on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. Like, that doesn't make sense. I know Fox has the national TV games all day on Fridays, but like, yeah, it's so dumb.
What else are you going to show during the summer, Fox? Are you going to show reruns of The Masked Singer?
But you could put it on FS1 or on TBS. Like, use one of your other TV partners to broadcast a big game like that.
Yeah. My next key is don't be afraid to experiment a little bit. And one of the big things I want to talk about this, and kind of goes back to my previous point of giving the old guys some rest. Chappie's been getting reps at short, and I think that's pretty cool, because we don't really have a backup shortstop with Pinder out right now. And kind of, so in games, we'll see what this Rangers game is going to be like. But now that you have Josh Harrison, who's somebody that you can rely on consistently playing third, I think you're going to kind of figure out what you want to do with this lineup. Okay, cool. We're going to put Chappie at short today. Or like, I know Jan Gomes has played some first in the past before. So it's like, hey, we're going to give, I feel like Olsen has not played a game all season long. So it's like,
Julio,
give Ollie a day off and put Murph at catching, and then Jan can play some first.
Or you could put Mitch at first and Jan can DH.
Yeah. Or Mitch can DH and Jan can play first. Like, that's the great thing about this lineup right now, is you have so many moving pieces. And in a big part, and that's why I'm saying, like, this is the time you should be kind of tooling with this to see what's going to work, especially this upcoming series with the Rangers, where Rangers looking rough post trade deadline, getting rid of those guys. So we'll see what's going to happen, but then also kind of figuring out, like, what do you want this lineup to look like in the postseason as well? I know in the pregame show, Bowman was talking about, he was thinking about putting Marte hitting 4 today. But he's like, but I like Jed more. It's kind of like chuckling about it. But it's like, yeah, dude. This is the time you should be experimenting a little bit, especially how great Jed's been hitting. And if you kind of want to go into like the more Joe Madden way of thinking with your lineup, is the reason you put certain guys at the top of the lineup, even if they're not your speed guys, is because you get them more at bats, you get them more reps throughout the game. So like, hey, don't be afraid to drop Marte a little lineup. Olsen hasn't been hitting us for much power lately. It's like he was talking about maybe if I put Ollie at 2 and just give him more reps to maybe get some stuff. This is the time we should do it, because I think by the time October rolls around, and if we're going to be there, you can kind of figure out like, oh, well, we did this lineup one day and it worked really well against the left-handed pitching, so we should roll with it this game, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. No, I agree. And Marte's had a lot of power lately too, so maybe you should capitalize on a little bit, and goes back to the small ball too. Oli hasn't been hitting much power lately because he's been kind of just trying to get the base hit when they need it. I wonder if that's a part of the new hitting strategy, if they've just been like, you know what, guys, we just need to move runners up, so let's just do that and we'll be more aggressive on the base path. So I don't know. All right, my second thing is starters continue to dominate the first 6 innings. And my God, have they been doing that? They've been doing it more or less all year, but there's been the occasional, fuck up. Mostly Frankie Montas. He'll have 2 good starts and 1 shitty start. But as Julio continues to remind me, do you think that this like pisses me off? It puts just a warm feeling to my heart every time you text me another good start by Frankie.
No, it's not to piss you off. It's just to like, hey, I think I'm onto something. I'm like Anakin in the pod race. It's working.
Yeah. It literally makes me just a massive smile on my face every single time. Frankie has put together 5 good starts. And if you guys are regular listeners to this podcast, you've been hearing me all season. He's been my essential tailgate tool of the week at least 5 times this season, because I keep saying he's had 2 good starts. He needs to have 1 more. All he does is put 2 starts together and then he has a shit one. And every time I do that, he has a shit one. But guess what? 5 consecutive good starts. All 5 of our starters have been fantastic. And the guys who have been filling in place of them when they're hurt, like Dalton Jeffries, when James Caprillion had that minor injury last week, they've been pitching well as great as well. So this all goes back to the small ball thing. If the starting pitchers can continue to dominate the first 6 innings and get some run support, they're going to be successful. I have faith that they can close the game out. So continue to do that. And we can rely on, we'll get to the bullpen when we get there, but just dominate the first 6 innings, really just kill the other team's soul, so they have nothing left for the last 3 innings, so they won't even want to score runs.
I actually have that as my top point, and I kind of glossed over it and forgot to mention it, but yeah, absolutely. I think we've had, Sean didn't have the best stuff on Tuesday, but then I think there's a pretty consecutive streak of just like quality starts where the guys are going at least 6 innings every single game. And if you don't know, for listening, quality start is you've pitched at least 3 innings and you give up less than 3 runs. And Sean and Frankie Montas has been doing that every outing since the All-Star break.
Oh yeah.
So he's on his shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
And absolutely, especially it kind of goes back to my point, is give the old dudes rest. You don't have to rely on bringing a Petit to eat 2-3 innings every other day, or you don't have to rely on Sergio Romo to come up there and just throw wiffle balls out there, because like these guys are going late in the innings where you don't have to rely on them. Instead of going 2 days or every 2 days, you're going every 3 days. And it's a big difference maker on these guys' arms the other day. So fantastic, nothing but fantastic points over here, by the way. That's all we do.
Let me ask this question. In a playoff rotation, who's the 4th starter and who gets booted to the bullpen? Is it, I assume it's between Frankie and Cole Irvin, but who would you boot?
That's a personal question. What's the Carson Wentz?
No
shit,
it's a personal question. I'm asking your opinion on the matter.
I'd probably go Frankie at the end of the day, because
same
Frankie his stuff is completely different from everybody else in that rotation. Mm-hmm. There's nobody who can throw as hard as he can, and who's got like his split finger when it's working is just almost nearly unhittable, and you can kind of see it because that's such a reliable pitch. But yeah, so it'll be interesting how they're going to kind of adjust Kohler the rest of season to kind of if they put him in that role. But you can never go wrong with enough lefties out of the rotation as well. Bless you.
Thank you. All right, your last one.
My last one is pitch AJ Puck as much as possible.
Interesting.
Get him in there as often as you can, even if it's for an inning. We saw what he did that today. He pitched on Tuesday night because you got to build those reps back up again for him. Initially, Bowmile had said that they were not going to pitch him in close games. It was going to be where it was kind of a lopsided game, or if it was going to be there ahead, they were going to throw him in. But Tuesday night, they threw him right back in the fire. And what did he do? 1, 2, 3, throwing consistent heat, and his slider is really working really well. And if you want this guy to be a part of a potential October team, you got to get him in those reps and get him back to pitching to major league level talent, especially against these team the A's are going to be facing potentially in the playoffs with the White Sox, the Yankees, a team that's a potential World Series contender with the Giants. I can't believe I just said that, but that's the reality of it. There's a really strong ball clubs that are going to be coming up again. And this guy, I think if he's working, is going to be a huge cog in the machine of a successful playoff run for the A's. So AJ, get him out there as much as you can. Every 2 days, even if it's just an inning, every 3 days, inning. I think that's going to be a very important thing. And plus, out there and eat you some innings when he needs to, especially, if Petit just went out and pitched 2-3 innings, or Birch Smith, bad Birch, just went out there and pitched a couple innings as well. You have another arm, another lefty as well, which we haven't had a lefty who can pitch for that long for some time. And I think that's going to be a big part of this next month and a half of baseball for the Oakland Athletics.
I dig it hardcore. All right. So my last one is just have fun. Those guys look like they're having so much fun playing. No, seriously, they really do. Josh Harrison looks like he's having the most fun he's ever played baseball or the most fun he's played baseball in the past 5 seasons, which makes sense because he's on a winning team now. Same with Marte, all those guys, Jan Gomes, all those guys have really clicked with the clubhouse really well. How can you not though? Sean Manaea is so lighthearted and so funny, so silly. And he really brings that clubhouse up, which is great. But all those guys do. All those guys have fun. Frankie Montas is a jokester too. But just enjoy it. When it gets a little too serious, a little too tense, it makes it tougher to compete. And I mean, I was gonna say versatility in the lineup, Julio. Honestly, that was my last one, but you took that, and I don't feel like we need to touch on that anymore. So my last one is just have some fun and enjoy it, and keep it loose. Keep it loose.
Absolutely. So So by the time we actually got into the Coliseum, for the lack of better words, I was feeling saucy, and
too many Modelo's in the bar parking lot.
Yeah, absolutely. But Josh Harrison comes up, and his walk-up song just slaps me in the face with funk, man. And I'm like, This is so. I'm gonna give a plug to his walk-up song because as soon as it just kicked, I'm like, I need to know what song this is right now. So the song is "Before I Let Go" by Maze and Frankie Beverly. Absolute flames. He fits right in with Oakland. The guy was already kind of exuberating what it means to be an Oakland Athletic. He's got his chain, he's got the beard.
Yeah,
he's just very versatile, very scrappy kind of dude. And then he walks up to that song. I'm like, dude, I want you here forever. Please don't ever leave me. And it's great. It's just when you're having fun, that's when you win. When you keep things lighthearted. Look at the Rays with guys like Brett Phillips, who he just looks like a little kid who just is chasing after the ice cream truck every time he runs on the field. Because it's electrifying. Happiness and fun is contagious, and not just in baseball environments.
And it's more fun to watch. It's more fun to watch these guys play baseball when they're having fun doing it.
Did you see the clip of Jed and Chappie had like a handshake in the dugout, but Chappie's face is like at the end of it.
Yeah. It looks like he's about to shit bricks. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I saw you tweeted about that too.
Yeah. It's turbo time.
Yeah.
No,
all right.
You can't interrupt the turbo time. You're not a part of the turbo team.
Okay. All right. There goes more references that completely go over my head. And
I think
Julio's
you should leave.
Like,
you
you don't know? Oh, yeah. But you said that was. Oh, that's right. But that was season 2, right?
It's the first season.
Oh,
Does that
okay.
ever happen to you? The two guys go in there and then they just go back and forth making mud pies in the toilet.
Oh yes.
And then they get rid of your toilet, and then they only have the toilet that's only for farts. Does that ever happen to you? Doesn't he remind you of Corey McLaughlin?
No, not at all.
Like
Tim Robinson?
No. But Corey would just like, oh, just so. And like Tim Robinson would do that. Absolutely. Like, I think so. Tony and I were talking. We think so. But anyways, upcoming schedule. Let's talk about it.
Let's move on. Upcoming schedule. So as we said earlier, we have a series this weekend with the Texas Rangers, and then next week against it's a 4-game series Monday through Thursday against the Chicago White Sox. Julio, who is your player of the week?
I'm going to downtown Seth Brown.
Ooh, interesting.
Brownie,
interesting.
I've been kind of dismissive about at times, but I think he's really coming around. He's hit in this last week. He's hit 2 home runs. He's hit 2 home runs, 2 singles, 2 RBIs, a steal, a walk, 5 Ks. I have the exact number in front of me.
Look, the man is there when you need him.
Yeah, because
what's that?
You know why? Because Brown delivers. Delivers, and I think if he can kind of continue to play this kind of ball. So let me get the exact number in front of me. He only had 15 at bats, but he hit 266 in last week, and he hit 2 back-to-back games with home runs. I think he has 15 home runs on the season. So it's like,
yeah,
dude,
he's got a lot.
This is a guy who has been up and down throughout the season. He hasn't been an everyday guy, and there's a really good chance by the end of the season he's still going to hit 20 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's freaking fantastic. You're going to take that, and he's getting a part of the steal party. He's being a little more aggressive on the bases. I don't know how long this is going to continue with him being a potential everyday guy as the more call-ups start happening, as Pinder comes back. But, you got to ride the wave, man. That's the motto of the team. So Seth Brown, dude, keep killing it.
The thing with him the first half of the season, he was like the regular 4th outfielder, was that his home runs would come at like non-convenient times when they're up by 5 runs and like or something like that. And then when you need a big at bat, they're down by 2 runs and it's the 7th inning, he like strikes out with a man on third. Like, but he's playing a lot better. He's taking advantage of these opportunities in games where we need him to. So solid pick. So mine is Starling Marte. Julio.
It's a Marte party.
Guess how many hits Starling Marte has had in the past 7 games?
9.
No, you are low. 14.
Are you fucking kidding me?
A dead ass. 33 at bats. He has 14 hits.
He's 7 games?
He's hitting 422 right now.
Oh my God.
That's insane, bro. Right? So he's scored 6 runs. He's brought in 8. He's only struck out 6 times. The dude is fucking killing it. So I'm kind of shocked that you didn't pick him, because I was hoping you wouldn't, so I could. But like, he has been absolutely fucking killing it. He has a home run, obviously. Also, that dude really fills out his jersey. That is a man. He is fucking yoked. It's insane.
So, I was wondering that because, like, I don't know if he just wears it a little bit tighter or something. Because, like, when
he's just really cut. I think he's just really cut.
Yeah,
he's not like big like me. He's thin and he's just muscular.
Low key flex, but okay. But like, you look at like Giancarlo Stanton, and you're like, that dude's massive, and like Aaron Judge, like that dude's massive, and he's just built, man. Like he's built like Ricky. Whereas like Ricky was like this all high school or like all state running back when he was in high school. And like, so he always kind of carry that physique with him. So yeah.
So Starling is 6'1", 195. So he's
lean as shit.
Yeah, he's just super lean. Yeah.
Wow.
Cool. All right. So last week's Essential Tailgate Tool of the Week, mine was Jed Lowry. He was 3 for 16, 5 runs, a single, double, home run, 7 RBIs. 3 for 16. That can't be right. It feels like he fucking has been crushing it this past week.
I mean, yeah, but I think that was more so just against Cleveland, where that he was just kind of like mowing them down.
That's probably it.
But yeah, it's either way. Wow.
I'm fact checking this real quick.
3 hits on 16 at bats, but he still brought in 7 RBIs. That's productive.
He has four hits on. Oh no, that's 3 hits. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll take it. Julio, yours was Sean Murphy. 5 for 15, 3 runs, 5 RBIs. Pretty good. I would say that's very successful. That's a 333 batting average. So it's got to be the rest, right? You think he's had more success to the plate because of the rest?
Yeah, absolutely. They were talking about it on the broadcast today, just like that's kind of the effect. And I think it also, Murph is from Ohio. I think there was something, and so was Seabass. So I think there was something a little extra to, the last series against the Cleveland Indians ever. And, they wanted to bring their best out there. He had a nice double today, brought in a couple runs, but just not having to rely on such a load so much behind the plate and at the bat. And then also just Yan Gomes' presence of just that education of kind of learning from that kind of guy, I think has been super pivotal for Murph.
Sorry, Mason called me and my recording got messed up, but I restarted. Yeah. It's been great to watch, and I'm glad Yan Gomes has done so much for us so far. Mainly that reason for giving Murph some rest. So it's mentorship. All right, Julio. Yeah, and mentorship. Julio, who is your essential tailgate tool of the week?
I'm going to focus on my guy, Mark Canha. My essential tailgate tool of the week. He hasn't been, I don't have the numbers in front of me just from watching the game. I feel like he hasn't been as offensive as he has been throughout the season. He's kind of a little bit of a slump. He's still being, every single at bat is still pretty productive, but he hasn't been there to kind of be like the essential leadoff guy to get some singles or whatever. I think he's a little bit of a home run drat as well. So hopefully this is the next week, some time to clear it up. I think playing in Texas and going against a pretty, minor league squad, for the lack of better words, is going to be helping this whole team as a whole. But Canha, leadoff guy, you're my man, my tailgate tool of the week.
Mine is going to be Elvis Andrus. I think that this stretch is going to be very important for him, especially because he's going to have to play a lot. I'm hoping that Chapman can give him some rest at the end of games a little bit more. But he's been hitting really well lately. I've been really impressed. 234 on the season, which is, again, folks, we have to remember that he started off the season over 20 something. What was it? Like over 24 or something like that? It was pretty bad. So it's a steep hill.
He didn't get above 200 until like June.
Yeah. And the big thing with him is the leadership in the clubhouse. Like, that's so important, especially with Ramon gone. Ramon was kind of like, if you ask a lot of like beat writers and stuff like that, he was kind of like the de facto leader of the team, especially with Marcus out. He really stepped up, and he did last year in the playoffs. And with Ramon that not there, he's not even allowed to be in the clubhouse. Like, his veteran leadership is so important. So, and leading by example is the best way to do that. And we all know he's had like this major impact on the young guys in the clubhouse. Everybody loves him. So mine's going to be Elvis Andrus.
Did you see the highlight today where it was like a little dribbler over to the left side of the infield, and Chappie ran up and got it, and Elvis was also like kind of was going to come to him, but like Chappie just kept, they were just doing like a lot of Elvis Beltre shit where he just kind of kept going with the motion, still pretending he was throwing it first. So like, it's just like little things like that. And like, at the end of the day, he's been there. He's been to world. He's been in multiple World Series, been a multi-time All-Star. He knows what it takes. He kind of sees it. And even last night, I don't know if you saw the post game where Brody and Dontrell were talking with him, and Dontrell straight up told me, he's like, "Hey man, I've been on a World Series team. You've been on a World Series team. I see a lot of those characteristics on this. Like, do you think this is a team?" And Elvis was like, "Yeah." It's like, absolutely. It's like, I think they're like, we're not even offensively there yet. He's like, I'm still trying to figure out my own thing. There's a couple guys are still trying to get together, but it's like, I think we have the talent, we have the depth. Like, I think this is a team that we're World Series contenders. So it's like,
and dude,
shout out to Dontrell for even asked that question, because like some people would be kind of,
that's why I love D-Train on those post-game shows. He's been really good. I'm glad that he's kind of like the number one, like, studio analyst. No, and honestly, like the biggest thing with World Series, with championship teams and World Series, like contending teams, is the pitching is always like, they have to improve the pitching, but our pitching is there. As if our offense can get there, like, I think we'll be okay. All right, folks, we're introducing a new segment because I've been really into doing polls on our Twitter, and they've had a lot of success. You guys have really really have clinged to them, and we get a lot of reactions. So we're gonna do a new segment every week. We're gonna end the show with updating the polls. So this is updating this past week's polls. There's going to be a sound effect. It's going to be cool. All right. Will Marte end up being the best deadline acquisition the A's have made in the past 10 years? 89% of the audience, Julio, say yes.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should Julio wear a Team USA gear to this Friday's game? Split in half, 50-50. 50% of the audience say yes, and 50% of the audience say no. Well, he didn't end up doing that, so I guess it doesn't.
And the US still won, so suck it, Chris.
Should the A's win it all this year for Ray Foss? 78% of the audience say duh. I'm scrolling up here. Here we go. Got a lot of posts from Julio. All right. Does Julio hate America? 71% of the audience say yes.
Oh, all right.
How should the A's handle the corner outfield? 84% of the audience say Canna in right field, Harrison in left field. It's kind of been how it's been. It's kind of how it's been. So makes sense.
Yeah. Well, if Brownie's playing more this past couple of days too, so
maybe giving those guys rest. Canna could probably use some rest. He's been playing nonstop since he came back. All right, scrolling up here. What is the best division in the American League? 60% of the audience say the AL East.
Yeah, that was a joke question. That was just you trying to.
And then Julio, that's just me trying to bait this four trains.
Hook line, it's too easy.
It's too easy for them. Then Julio commented, "Whoever voted for the Central, show yourself," because there was only one vote.
The White Sox are the only team over 500 in that division right now.
It's pretty sad. Hold on, I have to scroll up here anyway. You post a lot of things during the game, so just gotta find the poll. Here we go. Should the third member of the broadcast booth? Who should the third member of the Who should the third member of the broadcast booth be now that Foss is gone? 52% of the audience say D-Train. 37% said it should just stay Glenn and Dallas, but yeah. All right, scrolling up here. Where are you at? Ooh, Elvis. Tie game again. Remember that tweet. That was a good tweet. All right. A lot of ball game. Play the song. Let's see.
Follow us on Twitter if you're not already. I'm sure you all are, but
almost there. Let's see.
For future reference, what you should do is when the poll ends.
Those were the polls.
For future reference, when the poll ends, because you get notifications, just open up the results and screenshot them. That way we can be like.
But it's more fun. It's more funny and fun to do it this way.
Yeah, it's just dead air.
So, thanks for listening, folks. We appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Town Tailgate. If you have a question, comment, or concern from us, you can email us at towntailgatepodcast@gmail.com. That's Julio. I'm Chris. Last but not least, Julio.
Let's go, Oakland. Love you, Fossey.